Welcome to the Deep Dive. I am thrilled you're joining us today because we are tackling something that I think almost everyone listening has struggled with at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. I mean, think about the last time you tried to master something entirely new, especially as an adult, like picking up a second language.
Yeah, it always feels like this massive, impossible mountain.
Totally. There is this almost toxic expectation out there that success requires just monumental, exhausting effort. Like, if you aren't sweating through a grueling 10-hour study session locked in a room with textbooks, you aren't really making progress.
Right, it's that crash diet approach to self-improvement.
Yeah.
People really believe fluency is forged in these huge, overwhelming crucibles of effort. But, well, when you actually look at the cognitive science of how human brains acquire information, that marathon approach just completely collapses.
He really does.
Yeah, the brain doesn't prefer the binge. It thrives on the trickle.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because the trickle is where the real magic happens, and that is actually the whole mission of our deep dive today. We are exploring a highly effective daily 10-minute method for learning English, specifically at the A2 level.
Which is such a crucial phase. That's the level where you know enough to survive, but you want to actually function in the real world.
Exactly. You want to drop the rigid textbook dialogue and pick up some street smarts. And to do this, we are looking at a really fascinating source text today. It is an English learning conversation between two characters, James and Sarah.
And is brilliantly structured.
It really is. Through their everyday banter, James and Sarah break down 10 powerhouse words that are just fundamental building blocks for daily life.
What's so fascinating here is that these aren't just random vocabulary words pulled from a hat. I mean, they act as psychological tools for learners.
Well, for sure. So let's jump right into the foundation of James and Sarah's conversation. Because before anyone can master a language, they really have to understand their own capabilities. Which brings us to the first two words from the script, ability and able.
Right. And these two are obviously intimately connected, but they serve different psychological functions. Ability, as a noun, is about possessing a core skill. It's an inherent power you have.
Like James mentioning his ability to speak 3 languages.
Exactly. Speaking 3 languages is an ability. Staying calm under pressure is an ability.
Which, by the way, Sarah completely fails at in the story.
Yes.
I loved that part. There's this hilarious moment where the morning office coffee machine breaks, and Sarah just completely loses her mind. It proves that staying calm is an ability some of us fundamentally lack before 9 a.m.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But practically speaking, knowing how to talk about your abilities is crucial. Like in a job interview, if they ask, what is your greatest ability, they are asking what you are good at.
Right.
They want to know your internal value. And for an A2 learner, having the nuance to express that is super empowering.
I kind of picture it like a massive toolbox.
Mm.
Your ability is a specific, high-end tool sitting in the box.
Yeah.
You own it. But being able to, the adjective is the physical act of pulling that tool out and using it in real time.
That is a great analogy.
And Sarah uses being able so dramatically in the script. She literally says, I am not able to drink coffee today, treating a broken machine with the tragic formality of a medical diagnosis.
It's so funny, but it highlights a subtle difference. Saying I am able to swim is standard, but saying I am not able to attend the meeting establishes a formal boundary.
It's protective armor.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, mastering these 2 words gives A2 learners the power to set boundaries. It reclaims their agency in a new language.
But, having a fully equipped toolbox doesn't mean much if you never leave the house. Eventually, you naturally want to take those English skills out into the wider world. Which leads directly to our next set of words from James and Sarah, which are abroad and accept.
Yes. And the concept of going abroad is so interesting linguistically. Native English speakers rarely say, I am going to a foreign country.
Right. It sounds so clunky.
It does. It's too formal. Instead, we compress all that geography and culture into one smooth word. Abroad. You study abroad. You travel abroad.
And Jed has a highly relatable story about this in the script. He talks about being 22 and going abroad for the very first time.
Oh, the airport story.
Yes. He was so overwhelmed and nervous about leaving his home country that he got all the way to the airport and realized he had left his passport on his kitchen counter.
Which is just a nightmare.
Total nightmare. But it perfectly captures the cognitive overload of stepping into the unknown. When you cross a border, you lose your safety nets. And that brings us to the survival mechanism you need when you're abroad, which is the verb to accept.
Right, to receive or say yes to something.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me. Because James and Sarah show how this one word does an absurd amount of heavy lifting in daily life.
It really does. You accept a job offer or you accept an apology.
But then Sarah points out this hilarious modern reality. Every single day, we all blindly click accept on the terms and conditions of our tech devices without reading a single word.
Oh, every time.
So my question for you is blindly clicking accept on an app genuinely using the same psychological action as James looking Sarah in the eye and accepting a sincere apology?
Well, linguistically, yes, it operates the exact same way, but psychologically, they're polar opposites. I mean, clicking accept on a software update is just mindless compliance. You just want the barrier removed.
Right, zero processing.
Exactly. But when you accept a difficult reality, like realizing you need help or accepting a deep apology, you are engaging in profound emotional recalibration. The brilliance of teaching this word to A2 learners is its versatility. It covers everything from digital habits to emotional forgiveness.
Incredible range. And you need that range because navigating life abroad inevitably means dealing with the unplanned. Which brings us to the unexpected and the verified. The words accident and the phrase according to you.
Right. Now, normally, we think of an accident as a bad event, a car crash, or spilling coffee on your laptop.
Something you have no control over.
Yeah, exactly. But James points out something beautiful in the dialogue. He notes that doing something by accident can actually be incredibly positive.
Like finding 20 euros in the pocket of an old winter jacket.
Yes. Or meeting your new best friend because you sat in the wrong seat on a train by accident.
It completely flips the fear of making mistakes.
Mm.
I feel like adult learners are terrified of making an accident with their English. But those unplanned moments are where organic conversations actually happen.
They absolutely are. And when those unplanned things happen, we naturally want to talk about them, which introduces the phrase, according to...
Ah, yes. Used to share information from another source. According to the weather forecast, it's going to rain.
And Sarah uses a brilliantly universal truth here. She says, according to my grandmother, everything in life is solved with a large bowl of hot soup.
Which, I mean, soup is universally undefeated.
It really is.
But I do have to push back a little on how, according to Rogadia, is used in real life, especially at an office. I think according to Rogadia is basically a linguistic shield.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right. It's a way of saying, hey, don't blame me if this is wrong. I want you, the listener, to really think about how often you use, according to Rotary, just to pass the responsibility of a fact onto someone else. Like, according to the boss,
Yeah.
we have to work late.
It is the ultimate tool for navigating complex situations, and that is why it's a masterclass for A2 learners. It lets you participate in office gossip or news discussions safely. You don't have to own the claim.
You get to play in the deep end of the pool while still wearing your floaties.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of the mechanics of learning all this, we need to take a mid-dive check-in here
Oh,
because this is a lot of information.
it is.
So how do you actually absorb all these words without feeling completely overwhelmed? And this circles directly back to the core philosophy of James and Sarah's 10-minute method.
Right, because consistency is the absolute key to language learning. Like we said earlier, not a 10-hour binge once a week, but just 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, and if you are listening to us right now, I want to address you directly. Think about what you're doing. Maybe you are doing sports or walking outside. Maybe you are sitting in gridlock traffic or just taking a short break from work.
You are immersing yourself right now.
Exactly. You are taking 10 minutes to absorb English naturally, and doing this daily adds up to over an hour a week without even trying. You don't have to sit at a desk.
And reducing that friction of learning is scientifically proven to yield better results. When you attach learning to a daily walk, retention skyrockets.
So please, make this a habit. Subscribe to the show, turn on your notifications so you never miss a daily update. Make fluency an effortless part of your day.
Because that daily habit naturally bridges into the next 3 words from our script, which are all about turning effort into tangible results. Achieve, act, and active.
Let's get into the action phase. So achieve is a verb, reaching a goal after putting in the effort.
Like James talking about trying to achieve a B2 level in English. And honestly, just listening to this deep dive daily is an achievement in itself.
Absolutely. Then we have the word act, which can be a verb or a noun. You can act quickly in an emergency, or Sarah telling James to stop acting like a child.
Yes.
But it's also a noun, like a random act of kindness or an act in a theater play.
And then there's the adjective form, active. Moving around,
Okay.
participating, not being passive. James talks about staying active for his health by running every morning, or being an active member of the community.
What I love about these three words is the brilliant synergy you can create.
Right.
Like if you, the listener, are exercising right now while listening to us, you're being physically active while mentally acting upon your curiosity to achieve your language goals.
Oh, that's great. Two goals at once.
Right.
But this raises an important question. How does a learner transition from being a passive listener to an active speaker?
That's the terrifying part for a lot of people.
It is. But the secret is understanding the word act. It is short, it is powerful, and it demands immediate participation. You have to actively choose to open your mouth and risk making a mistake. You can't achieve fluency from the sidelines.
You have to get in the game. Okay, so we've talked about abilities, going abroad, dealing with accidents, and taking action. But how do we bring it all back down to reality? Especially when things aren't quite what they seem. This brings us to the final word in James and Sarah's conversation. Actually.
Oh, the reality check.
Yes, the adverb, actually. Giving real or surprising information. Like, he looks young, but he is actually 45.
Or a movie being actually good when you thought it would be terrible.
Right. But it's also used for polite correction, like Sarah telling the barista, actually, I ordered tea, not coffee.
But there is a massive warning label attached to this word.
Tone matters so much.
It really does, because actually can sound incredibly rude or overly corrective if you use it poorly. If you use a sharp, condescending tone, you sound like a jerk.
Like the guy who interrupts everyone with, well, actually, yes. No one likes that guy. But when used smoothly, actually is the bridge between textbook English and street English.
It signals that you understand nuance. It shows social grace.
Exactly. It makes an A2 learner sound incredibly natural and fluent.
So what does this all mean for us? Let's trace the journey we just took through James and Sarah's 10 powerhouse words.
Let's do it.
We started with the foundation of understanding our ability and what we are able to do. Then we took those skills abroad and learned to accept new realities. We embraced the accident as a positive thing and learned to safely share facts according to others.
We committed to achieving our goals by choosing to act and stay active.
And finally, we grounded ourselves in reality with actually.
It is a brilliant framework.
It really is. And to you listening, this is the core message. Keep up the 10-minute daily habit. Listen in traffic, on your walks, or during your workout. Subscribe and turn on notifications so this daily language journey just continues uninterrupted. Because it works. And I want to leave you with a thought inspired by James and Sarah. I want you to imagine yourself in the future, standing in an English-speaking country abroad. Someone walks up, asks you a question, and you realize, without even thinking, actually, I speak English now.
Wow. What will be the first conversation you choose to have in that moment? Think about it.
We'll see you next time.